Welcome back to Water Quality Monitoring with South Sound Green and the Nisqually River Education Project. In the last episode, Sam taught you about watersheds, and now we will discuss why water quality is important to protect and monitor. You'll learn about living things that rely on our rivers and ways that our human activity can impact water quality. Water quality is a measure of whether water is good enough for a certain use. There are different values we look for when measuring water quality for uses like drinking, swimming, or being good habitat for plants and animals. There is a lot of water on Earth. In fact, about 75% of the Earth's surface is covered in water. But of all that water, only 2.5% is fresh water. And of that 2.5% fresh water, almost 70% of that is frozen in ice and glaciers. Another 30% of that is stored underground in groundwater. That leaves 0.3% of all freshwater as surface water in lakes and rivers. This is water that is available to us and the other organisms that need fresh water. So what's the point? The point is that fresh water is a limited resource, and it is very important that we know how to protect it and keep it healthy. We have such a small amount of the water on Earth available to us and other freshwater organisms, so we need to be very careful about how we treat it. Humans need fresh water to live, and not just for drinking. Local tribes around the Puget Sound have been using the freshwater rivers and lakes for many different purposes since time immemorial. Fresh water is necessary for farming, fishing, cooking, bathing, transportation, and many other uses, including fun. Without fresh water, life wouldn't exist. Water quality affects more organisms than just us humans. All life on Earth depends on water, and other living things in our area need our local rivers just as much as we do. One organism that relies on fresh water is Pacific salmon. Salmon are important to humans because they support our ecosystems, economy, culture, and traditions. We need salmon, and salmon need us to make sure they have the right conditions to continue to live. This is extra important right now because Chinook salmon and steelhead are listed as threatened, which means the government provides them special protections to make sure that the populations can support themselves. Salmon are a keystone species, meaning they support the survival of other organisms in their ecosystem. Without salmon, other creatures wouldn't survive or populations would grow too fast, throwing off the delicate ecosystem balance. There are 137 vertebrate species, which just means species with a backbone, that rely on Pacific salmon, so you can imagine how many other invertebrate species rely on them too, such as insects, plants, slugs, shellfish, or any other organism without a backbone. Species that eat salmon include bear, orca, and eagles, but other species that do not hunt salmon still rely on them because they share a habitat and have an impact on each other's lives. One surprising organism that relies on salmon for food is trees. When salmon decompose after death, the nutrients in their body are absorbed by nearby trees for food. So in a way, trees that grow near rivers eat fish. Now that we know why water quality is important, we need to find out how to monitor it. In the next episode, you'll learn from Sam about the various water quality parameters that you will test for. Thanks for watching!